Welcome to another video with me, Wa, and this is another fasting reflection. And the three topics that I'm going to cover in this reflection is triggers with the shadow self, as well as what was the other one? Being patient and food focus. So those are the themes that I was dealing with this, you know, week of intermittent fasting. And so the first one, dealing with the shadow self and triggers, challenges, circumstances that might make one want to use profanity or act ignorant if they are not fully evolved into their masterful self yet. So, what I've noted is that it's highly important not to get into a negative projection if you find yourself slipping up, like you get triggered, actually, like your shadow self gets triggered. And pardon me, I had intended to have some background music, so now it's playing. If you had intended, so like I was saying, if you set the intentions to respond to all circumstances and situations from a space of alignment with your divinity, and you find yourself out of alignment, triggered, your shadow self just like, I've noted that in the past, I would go into this projection of just like negative about myself and feeling very bad and depressed, like, oh man, I messed up. And just spending a whole lot of mental energy beating myself up for making the mistake. Now, it's good to be repentant and, but when you're on this path and you already know what your shadow self is and you already know what you're working through, then there's no reason to beat yourself up about it anymore if you happen to step out of alignment. You just pray for strategies and internal resources to respond properly, as well as, staying in your affirmations, listening to your affirmations, record yourself saying your affirmations, record yourself on the recorder on your cell phone saying your affirmations, and listening to those on repeat when needed, even while sleeping. Why not? And that's just like, extra assistance. And let's say you go a long period where you're like, man, you're feeling pretty stable in your alignment, nothing triggering you, and then all of a sudden something happened and you're like tripping. Well, it's okay. What you do is not even focus on it. You can acknowledge it and note it, like, okay, I was out of alignment right there. And then you just let it go and continue to focus on your prayer, your affirmations, because it's counterproductive to get into a meditation of negativity about the trigger and what just happened. Like, oh man, I see my shadow self. The ghost is like a damn ghost. It just, sometimes it's like seeing a ghost for some people, But if you are committed to being in alignment with your most authentic, pure self, and you have to embrace and then love that part of yourself. So it's like part of that self-love, what I've noted is like not getting into a tantrum about it, like a mental tantrum, like of like a defeating energy of feeling bad and thinking bad about yourself because you allowed yourself to be triggered and the shadow just came up like, ah. You can just pray, stay on your affirmations, and stay on your fast. Stay on your fast, and just recognize that you have to do better next time, but not from a space of self-chastisement, but more from a space of like, okay, I've done better before, and I'm going to do better next time. And pray for strategy. Utilize your affirmations. Listen to them while you're sleeping. Listen to them anytime you need to. So that was one of the first things that I wanted to talk about, was dealing with the shadow self while fasting and just striving to stay in alignment. You step out of alignment, step back in alignment, dance with it. So you can do, and love yourself along the way. So the next thing is the food focus. A fasting sister this week mentioned that she was thinking about cheeseburgers. And I was like, don't even worry about it. Just keep pushing because you're doing a great job, because she's on her 4th day. And I was like, that's dope. So in reference to food focus while fasting, just again, be gentle with yourself throughout the process. Like, I remember, like, I used to avoid thinking about food because I was just at a, more infant stage in my fasting, my intermittent fasting. I didn't want to think about food. I didn't want to smell food when I was, in those beginning stages of intermittent fasting. But now that I've been doing it for longer, I don't mind, watching something about food. And of course, I have to smell foods when I prepare foods. So for my family. So what I want to say about that is that sometimes the body might respond because, there is, parasites in there. Like, what you doing? You ain't feeding me. And then they try to revolt and get little stomach aches and cancer shit, and you just be like, all right, niggas, I'm not feeding you. And you stay on your fast. And that's it. So, but in reference to dealing with the focus, it's okay if you think about food. It's natural. It's so consuming of our day-to-day existence that, if you are able to focus your energy elsewhere, that's beautiful. But if it keeps coming to the surface, don't be mad at yourself. Don't feel like you are doing it fasting incorrectly, or you tripping or anything like that, because it's natural. So, like, just love yourself through that. And now I be watching YouTube cooking videos like, oh, I'm going to make that when I'm done my fast. Whatever you feel like doing is all good. I mean, I don't really think that there's any rules to, besides staying on the fast for the designated time that you have, so that you can get the benefits that you need, so your body can do the work that it needs. I remember that, I think it was last year, I read a cool article that said, make sure that you stick to the amount of time that you're supposed to fast, because your body is highly intelligent and it's responding to that memo, that notification. Oh, we about to fast for this set of time. So it's going to have a list of things that it's going to do. Okay, I'm going to clean this. I'm going to do this, and that. So when people actually break their fast ahead of time, then they're preventing their body from accomplishing something. So that's something to remember as well. I also read in another book that anytime that somebody breaks a fast, then they weaken their willpower. So it's important to start small and work your way up. That's why I do intermittent, because like those long extended time periods, it just wasn't something that I was interested in doing at this part of my journey. I felt like overwhelmed by it. It gave me anxiety. And now that I've been doing intermittent fasting, controlling myself, gaining more discipline, I actually can see now. And it goes back to what it said in the book, is that you building willpower with those little fasts. You building willpower. So, and I can see that, because now I'm actually entertaining the ideas of longer fasts without feeling anxiety. And it's seeming much more achievable now, especially liquid. Those people doing them long breatharian fasts, man, they just on another level. So we all got to start from where we at. And it's okay. It's a blessing. As long as we are making effort to be as healthy as we can and clear up anything that we need to clear up physically, mentally, and spiritually. So the last thing is patience. Patience, patience, patience. It's like, that's what I think fasting is all about. It's literally about patience, because you have to be patient to get through your fast. You have to be patient not to eat. You have to be patient not to drink if it's a intermittent fast that is dry, because that's the ones that I do. Because 1 day of dry fasting is equal to 3 days of liquid fasting. So I wanted to get the greatest benefit. Plus, like I mentioned in a previous video, I read in a book that, and this is a credible source for me. Sometimes I know people are like, they don't always believe what they read in books, but for me, it depends on the source. And I would definitely, like, everything that they were saying was resonating with me. So it made sense. Anyways, they said that for every year that somebody is alive, they should do a week of fasting. So when I did the math, I'm right on target with what I'm doing right now, so that I can get the most out of my body in this existence, because that's what it's all about. It's like, is your body as healthy as it can be? Are you experiencing the mental capacity that you would like, the spiritual level that you would like? Fasting is to assist on all those levels: weight loss, spiritual discipline, mental discipline, relief of karma, all those things. So it is a meditation of patience, for real. You gotta have patience with yourself, patience with those around you, and it's just like fasting actually makes you confront your level of patience. Like, do you have the patience to not eat so that your body can do what it needs to do? Because it is not something that's supposed to consume food all the time. Opinion alert. But I mean, there's facts on that as well. So, opinions. I mean, if it's resonating and you find evidence to support it, then it's true. So, giving the body the time that it needs to do what it needs to do is a beautiful thing, and it requires patience. So, that is one thing that I realize about the fasting is that it is a test of your patience. It will give you more patience. and just make you more patient, especially if you are an impatient person. And it's so crazy because, like, I used to get commented on how patient I was. Like, people would be like, oh my God, you're so patient. And, like, I mean, like, they would actually give me accolades on my level of patience. And then I felt like over time I became more impatient with self and others. I mean, it was evident. And now it's a blessing that, I can fast to get me back to that space of purity. If you find yourself in another version of yourself in this space and time, and you're like, whoa, what happened? What happened to me? You can always utilize fasting as a tool to assist you with getting back to a space of purity that seems familiar, or that is familiar to you. Because in this world, there's so many different dynamics that affect people mentally, spiritually, and physically. All different types of relationships that create psychosis and neurosis and obesity and all kind of stuff. And all we can do is our best to free ourselves up and liberate ourselves up from those heavy bondages, things that are, weighing down the body, the mind, and the spirit. Fasting is definitely a great tool for that, and it's about patience. Like, seriously, I'm like, okay, patience on all levels. And so those are my fasting reflections from my intermittent fasting journey of the week. And I'm grateful to be able to share, and I hope that some people out there in the universe find this information helpful, useful, because we are all continuing our rebirth, and we just have to learn how to see the beauty in it, see the beauty in the ugly, and love ourselves, even the part that was acting ugly, because it is the part of the healing. So enjoy your journey, enjoy your fasting, enjoy your reflections, and enjoy loving yourself. Peace. And spam this video. Support your sister. Like, I get spam in my Facebook inbox. And a lot of it's like negative stuff. Like, what is this? Is this a negative nation? Do we only want to share negative news? Like, this is some positive shit. Like, spam it. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.